All right, so this week's module talks about Bernays' like model of engineering consent, and in the first slide we talk about Bernays' strategy with the peso model, and as you can see on the screen, we have the four like basically have the four um, methods or models of media, which is the first is paid media, which involves things like television ads or newspaper ads um, or or even speaking engagements on news programs and talking interviews with talk show hosts, like anything like dealing with like you pay money in order to get your content out there on the mainstream media. And then you have the earn media, which is basically free publicity, where people where basically they invite you onto the program, or you you basically get interviewed by the press because they're interested in your story or they're interested in what you have to say. And so that's media that you don't have to pay for. That's media that you basically get gratis. And then social media is another one where um, you you basically don't have to pay for it either, but it's not media that you can easily control, like with paid media or earned media. It's the kind of media where basically whoever engages with it can basically comment on it or share it with whoever they want, and it can basically it's out of your control of how it's disseminated and how it's commented on. And then there's own media where you control the copyrights to certain properties or to certain messages, and then you can basically like if someone uses it without your permission, you can flag them for it or um, and basically penalize them for using it without your permission. And so those are basically the four models for the peso model of Bernays strategy um, in engineering consent. And then Bernays' strategic pillars, um, or the goal of communication, is basically the idea is to basically engineer consent, and usually the foundation of this engineering consent is you have okay. First of all, you have to start with three strategies, the three strategic pillars, which involve the question why. Why are you doing this? You have to understand the reasons for wanting to promote a message or for promoting a certain idea to the public, and usually involves in gathering information and um, then basically um, per, developing precision of your message, precision with the information that you get, and then making adjustments based upon those strategies. And then, but before you can start with strategy, you have to start with the foundation, which is actually research. So you have to understand the people you're trying to communicate to, the subject you're trying to communicate, and um, and once you understand what you need to know in order to communicate the reasons why you're communicating something, then that's when you get into those three strategies with the pillar like engineering consent um, for for public relations.
Okay, so I want to talk about the modern toolkit, which is as Stephen explained. I just wanted to reemphasize on that. We have a PESO model, which is a strategic framework, which is used in the marketing and public relations to categorize media into four types: paid media, earned media, shared, and owned media. So these model describes the use of different media channels in the organizations and in marketing, as well as in marketing approach. And also it's been widely adopted by the in marketing industries, especially in communication industries. So the first one is paid media. So paid media, which is it is a content that is paid for an ex including social media advertising and also sponsored content. And also it is paid for marketing emails as well. So where you pay for it. And the second one is earned media. So earned media, which is it is a content that is related to a person or an organization that is being published by the third party without any form of payment to the publisher. Um, and also the credibility of it is highest. Where, for example, where the someone else is said for the content. And the third one is um, shared media. So it is shared on the social media platforms, especially for fostering engagement and also interaction. So it is for the fan post and also brand where social media for the channels. The last one is owned media, where content and channels that a company has control over them. For example, the website, blogs, and also branded social media accounts. Yep.
Awesome. And then, um, so I'm gonna explain why um, Bernays framework is kind of a little bit different between of the peso system. So Bernays framework dictates the objective, and the peso system provides the delivery system. So first one is the information. So the information is first delivered through own media. So if there's an emergency, you need 100% control. So you put all the information on your website or social channel. Then the persuasion is the push to change the behavior. So that belongs to paid media. So if you want, for example, students to buy tickets to an event, you pay for the targeted social media ads. And in that way, you are controlling and persuading at the same time. And then the adjustment is the most critical goal because requires credibility. So you can just not announce a company change just because you want it. You need to first earn the trust to the public. And then the next slide, it's about our conclusion, right? Like why both models matter. So the first thing is the race, which is the process, how to guide the company. Then the strategy will be the goal, so the why of the company of the campaign. And then the third one is the peso model, which are the channels, the where of the campaign. And the takeaway is to succeed. So you use the modern tools, which is the peso, to achieve the goals. So if you understand that every piece of content from a tweet to a press release, you need to find the Bernays three core functions, which are the information, persuasion, and the ultimate goal of adjustment. So in that way, you can have a solid foundation for your campaign and your career. Thank you.